Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
Tourism in the United States is facing a very big problem this year. The number of people visiting the country from other places has dropped suddenly and by a large amount. This was completely unexpected by many people. Experts who study travel thought that this year would be a great year for visitors coming to the U.S., maybe even a record year with more tourists than ever before. They expected global travel to grow strongly. But the reality is very different. Instead of growing, the numbers collapsed quickly. This means far fewer international tourists are arriving in the United States than expected, and they are spending less money too. People who work in the tourism business are expressing strong surprise and worry about this. Leaders in the industry have called the situation jaw-dropping, which means they are extremely shocked and find it hard to believe how bad things are. This sudden fall is causing problems for many businesses across the country. What makes this situation unique is that the United States is the only major country in the world currently seeing a decline in tourism money. Other big countries are doing well and welcoming more visitors. This difficult situation sets the stage for understanding a crisis that seems to be made by the country itself. This story will look at the reasons why international tourists are choosing not to visit the United States right now, and how this affects the economy and the people who work in tourism. 2. The numbers are down. The statistics for tourism in the U.S. show a big problem. The numbers are really down. People visiting from other countries are spending much less money here. Recent data shows that international visitors spent around $12.5 billion less this year compared to the previous year. This is a large drop, meaning billions of dollars less are entering the U.S. economy from tourism. The total number of international visitors has also fallen significantly. In a recent month, the number of foreign visitors was about 14% lower than the same month 1 year earlier. This means millions fewer people visited the United States during that time. Some specific regions show even bigger declines. Visitors from Canada have declined dramatically. The number of Canadians driving across the border dropped by almost 1/3 in 1 month. The number of Canadians flying to the U.S. also fell notably. Visitors from Western Europe also came much less often, with a drop of about 17% in a recent period. This big decrease in visitors and their spending has caused a major change for the U.S. economy. For many years, the U.S. made more money from international tourists than Americans spent traveling outside the U.S. This created a positive balance for tourism trade. But now, the situation is different. Americans are spending much more money on travel abroad than international visitors are spending in the U.S. The country now has a large travel trade deficit, which is about $50 billion. This means the U.S. is losing money through travel, which has not happened for many years. These low numbers are very serious. The large fall in spending, the big decrease in visitor numbers overall, and the sharp drops from key markets like Canada and Europe clearly show the size of the challenge. The new travel trade deficit shows how much the situation has changed. These statistics mean fewer people are staying in hotels, eating in restaurants, and buying things in shops all over the country. This affects businesses and the jobs they provide. The numbers are down, and this is causing difficulties across the tourism industry. This picture is very different from what experts expected, showing how serious the problem is. 3. Why people are not coming. In the last chapter, we saw how the number of visitors to the United States went down a lot. But why did this happen? People expected more tourists, not fewer. This chapter looks at the main reasons why people decided not to come. Many experts say the main reason is linked to government policies. The government had a new idea called America First. This meant putting America's interests first, sometimes without thinking about other countries. This idea changed how the government acted towards friends and neighbors. These new policies caused problems. For example, the government put new tariffs on goods from Canada and Mexico. Tariffs are like extra taxes on things brought into the country. This made people in Canada and Mexico very unhappy. Canada and Mexico are close neighbors and big trading partners with the United States. Putting extra taxes on their goods felt wrong to many. This trade issue created a negative feeling. In Canada, many people became angry. Some Canadians decided to stop buying American products. They also decided not to travel to the United States as a protest. They felt hurt by the new taxes on their country's goods. Because fewer Canadians wanted to visit, airlines started to cancel flights to some cities in the United States. Problems also grew with countries in Europe. The government's actions and words sometimes made European leaders and people feel unhappy. There were tensions over trade and other issues. This meant that the good feelings many Europeans had about the United States started to change. They read news and heard things that made them feel less welcome. Surveys showed that people in many countries around the world felt less positive about the United States. This negative feeling made people think twice before planning a trip. They wondered if they would be welcome or if travel might be difficult. So, the main reasons people stopped coming were connected to government policies. The America First idea, the new tariffs on allies like Canada and Mexico, and the tensions with countries in Europe created a feeling of being unwelcome. Many potential visitors felt unhappy or worried and chose to visit other countries instead. This is why the number of tourists started to fall. 4. A difficult welcome. The journey to the United States became more difficult for many people. At the border, new rules started. These rules changed the way visitors entered the country. One important new rule was about fingerprints. Visitors planning to stay for more than 30 days now had to give their fingerprints. Before, it was easier. People from countries like Canada and places in Europe could visit for up to 6 months without this step. The new rule ended that easy way to come. There were also news stories about tourists having problems at the border. Some visitors were stopped and held. These incidents created fear and worry for people who wanted to visit the U.S. They were not sure if they would enter without trouble. The idea of being held at the border made many people feel unsafe about traveling to the United States. This fear and uncertainty were big reasons why fewer visitors came. Potential tourists heard these stories. They thought about the problems and decided to go to other countries instead. They wanted their holidays to be easy and happy, not stressful with worries about the border. Governments in other countries also saw these issues. Some countries started to give travel warnings to their people about visiting the U.S. For example, Germany told its citizens that even having a visa did not guarantee they could enter the country. Other countries gave advice about showing identity documents because of changes in the U.S. These warnings from other governments made the situation worse. They showed that the problems at the border were real. People around the world heard that visiting the U.S. might be difficult or risky. This message made many people feel unwelcome. The difficult welcome at the border hurt the image of the United States as a friendly place to visit. The new rules and the stories of tourists being stopped made the entry process feel hard and unfriendly. This directly caused a drop in the number of international visitors coming to the country. The feeling of not being welcome stopped many people. They chose countries that felt more open and easy to enter. The difficult experience at the border was a big reason why travel to the U.S. became less popular. 5. How businesses are suffering. The sudden fall in tourism is having a real impact on businesses across America. Many different companies that rely on visitors from other countries are suffering. Hotels, restaurants, and tour operators are all seeing fewer customers. They are reporting huge cancellations for trips and stays that were planned. Think about famous places like Las Vegas. The casinos there are feeling the pain because they have fewer international guests walking through their doors. Resorts in Florida, which are very popular with visitors from places like Canada and Europe, are also losing business. These places are important for the economy in those areas, supporting many local jobs. This difficult situation is happening all over the country, not just in a few tourist spots. It affects businesses from the East Coast to the West Coast. The problem is spreading to many different kinds of companies, not only those directly in travel. Shops, entertainment venues, and even transport services are feeling the impact of fewer people visiting. Airlines are also having troubles. Because fewer people are booking flights to the U.S. from overseas, airlines are making changes to their plans. They are cutting some routes to American cities because there is not enough demand. This shows that the whole system that supports tourism is hurting badly. The tourism industry provides many millions of jobs for Americans. When hotels are empty and restaurants have few customers, the jobs of the people working there are at risk. Many local workers are facing problems and worry about losing their jobs because of the big drop in visitors. Companies that organize tours for international groups report that many future bookings are 30 to 50% lower than what they normally expect. A survey found that over half of U.S. travel businesses have lost clients from Canada or other countries because visitors are staying away. And 61% of hotels saw a high number of guests cancel their planned stays. This means a lot of money that used to come into the U.S. economy from international visitors is now missing. Experts estimate that businesses could lose billions of dollars this year because these visitors are spending less money. This lost money makes it very hard for companies to pay their workers, keep their doors open, and make needed investments. The economic pain is affecting many different parts of the country and many local economies. It shows clearly how much American businesses depend on people coming from abroad to visit and spend their money. They are really suffering now, and they need the visitors to come back for their businesses to get better. 6. The government's words. The problem with fewer tourists was clear to many people and businesses across the country. But what did the government in Washington say about it? The main leaders had different ideas than people on the ground. The White House spoke about the situation. The president and his team did not agree that the drop in visitors was a big problem. They said it was not a big deal. The president said that tourists were treated very well in the country. The White House said that the president's plans helped Americans but also international visitors. One leader, the vice president, even made a comment about visitors from other countries after a big sports event. This was the main message from the top. However, state governments across the country saw things differently. Leaders in different states saw empty hotels and slow restaurants. They knew that tourism brought jobs and money to their areas. These state leaders felt the problem was serious. They decided to speak directly to people in other countries. For example, the governor of California made a video message. He spoke to people from Canada, a country where many visitors were staying away. He told them that California was still very welcoming. He said not to let the problems in Washington stop their travel plans. California even started a campaign called California Loves Canada to invite visitors back. Other states, like Florida and New York, also made efforts. State officials in these places made it clear that they wanted tourists to visit. They emphasized that their states were open for business and happy to welcome people from anywhere. This showed a big difference in how the problem was seen. The government in Washington played down the issue, but state governments were worried about local jobs and the economy. They tried to send a different message to the world. The words from the federal government and the words from the states were not the same. This division showed the challenge of fixing the problem when leaders did not agree it was serious. 7. A bigger problem for everyone. The problem of fewer tourists is bigger than it seems. It is not just about large hotels or big airplanes that carry people across oceans. The lower number of visitors affects many parts of the country and many different kinds of jobs and businesses. Local communities and businesses feel the pain directly. Small shops, restaurants, coffee places, local museums, theme parks, and companies that offer tours or transport have fewer customers than before. This slowdown means less money for these businesses. Many people work in these places. Think about wait staff, cooks, cleaners, guides, and shop workers. Millions of jobs across the country are directly connected to travel and tourism. When fewer visitors come, businesses may have to cut hours or even let people go. Losing a job is a serious problem for families and communities. The country's economy as a whole is also taking a hit. When people from other countries visit the United States, they spend a lot of money on hotels, food, shopping, and fun activities like concerts or visiting attractions. This spending brings important money into the economy. Experts estimate that billions of dollars are being lost each year because international visitors are staying away. This means less money flowing into businesses, less income for workers, and less overall economic activity. Governments at the state and local level also face difficulties because of the drop in tourism. Tourism brings in important tax money from things like hotel stays and sales taxes. This money is used to pay for many necessary public services like schools, fixing roads and bridges, public transport, parks, and safety services like police and firefighters. With less tourism revenue, there is less tax money available. This can make it harder for states and cities to pay for these important things that everyone uses. The situation is also changing how the country earns money from travel on a larger scale. For many years, the United States made more money from visitors coming in than Americans spent traveling to other countries. This was good for the economy. Now, this has flipped. Americans are spending more money overseas than visitors are spending in the U.S. This means the country is losing money overall in travel, which is a significant change. There is also a growing concern that this could create problems for Americans who want to travel abroad in the future. If the United States is seen by other countries as less welcoming or difficult to enter, those countries might react. They could make it harder for American citizens to get visas or enter their borders. Some nations are already seeing the U.S. situation as a chance to strongly invite travelers to visit them instead. They are actively putting out a welcome sign to tourists that the U.S. seems to be pushing away. Even Americans who enjoy traveling are being affected. Some are changing their holiday plans because of the economic situation or simply the feeling that travel might be more difficult. Instead of traveling to other countries, many are choosing to stay closer to home and take trips inside the U.S. This shows that the problems from the tourism slump are reaching many people, even those not working directly in the travel industry. It is becoming a bigger problem that touches almost everyone in different ways. 8. What happens next? Experts who study travel agree on one big thing about U.S. tourism. The large drop in visitors is a problem the country made itself. It happened because of certain policies and rules that made people feel unwelcome. For example, new taxes on goods from Canada and Mexico made people there upset. Also, stricter rules at the border and stories of travelers having trouble created fear and uncertainty. People from many countries started to think that the U.S. might not be a friendly place to visit right now. This situation is called a self-inflicted crisis. It means the problems came from inside the country, not from outside. Rebuilding trust with people in other parts of the world will be a slow and hard process. It cannot be fixed in a short time. Many other countries are actively trying to attract tourists. They are making it simple and clear for people to visit. They are showing visitors that they are very welcome. Experts say these countries are rolling out the welcome mat. They are competing for the same visitors. But the U.S., because of its actions and words, seems to be doing the opposite. Many people around the world feel like the U.S. has put up a closed sign. This means fewer people choose the U.S. for their holidays or business trips. The drop in tourism has real effects on the U.S. economy. Businesses that depend on visitors are losing a lot of money. This includes hotels, places to eat, stores, and tour companies. Jobs in these businesses are at risk. Also, states and cities get less money from taxes when tourism is low. This affects public services for everyone. Experts warn that it could take many years, maybe several years, for the U.S. tourism industry to grow strong again and reach the levels it was at before. To bring back international visitors, the U.S. needs to change how it is seen by the world. It must work to show that it is a safe and welcoming place for travelers. It needs to compete well with other countries that want visitors. The story of U.S. tourism is at a very important point now. The facts show that fewer people are coming. Whether this problem gets better depends a lot on what happens next. It depends on the choices made about policies and how the U.S. talks to the rest of the world. What do you think will happen next for U.S. travel?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.